Oh, all right. Well, oh wait. Yep. So I'm here with Guilain, one of our students that, well, we had him look at the GMAT and the GRE, and he ended up going with the GRE. And yeah, maybe can you tell us a little bit about your backstory and then how everything turned out?
Yeah, definitely. So I'm French. I grew up in France, but then I went to study abroad first for my bachelor and master, and then I went back to Paris and started to work.
Where'd you
In,
study?
so I studied at IE Business School
Okay.
in Madrid.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yes, and I started to work first in real estate investments, and now currently in hotel investment. So
Okay.
I've work now for 3 years in my company. I have a European scope, so my job is to basically analyze potential hotel investment acquisition that we can do and make recommendation to our shareholders whether they are good investments or not.
Uh-huh. And
And
what can you say what company or is it
yeah, I can Easy Hotel. Easy
easy?
Hotel. So basically, we are a spin-off of EasyJet.
Okay.
So yeah, we use the easy, but to make hotels. But we've been acquired since then by some private equity funds. So we're not
Okay.
capitalistically related to EasyJet anymore.
Uh-huh. All right.
And basically, I wanted to kind of pivot a bit and move away from investments and go more into general management.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I decided to do an MBA.
Mm-hmm. And then so how long did the whole process take you to apply, well, get ready for the test and apply and all that?
So I started working on the GRE in January 2025, and I finished my last interview um, in uh, in July 2025. So
Mm-hmm.
kind of 7 8 months for the entire process.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so basically, I was lucky that my sister discovered about you, about Vincia Prep, and so she was the one who told me at the beginning, start with them from the beginning because she started working on the GMATs and later on she then took some classes. And she told me that if she had to do it again, she would take classes from the beginning. So that's
Yeah.
how I heard it. I heard from you. I don't know how she heard from you.
I think she just saw us online, but yeah, that's kind of a common thing that happens is that people have a tendency to study the wrong things or in the wrong way at the beginning, and it makes them less efficient at the, so then they lose sometimes 50, 100. I've had students come to me that have studied hundreds of hours and have not improved. And
Mm.
it's really because they have some systematic flaws in the way they're preparing. Um, and so yeah, starting at the beginning definitely puts you down the right path. I mean, you still, like as you saw, you still have to study a lot. I mean, there's no way around it.
Definitely. Yeah.
How much did you end up studying?
I didn't count the hours, but quite a lot, especially because I was working on the
Mhm.
side. So I was working a bit during the mornings and during the afternoons. But then I found out that what worked well the most was working for long hours on weekends.
Hmm.
And so during the week, I will do 45 minutes in the morning and then
Hmm.
an hour or an hour and a half in the evening.
Hmm.
But if you add all of that during the week, you forget a bit, you take a bit of time to get in the zone. So having 5 hours during a Saturday and then 5 hours on a Sunday, you learn much, much more than 5 hours during the
Yeah,
week.
it's definitely more efficient, except for maybe vocab learning, because when you
Yeah,
learn,
vocab you have to learn. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah,
definitely.
on kind of over a long period of time. And so that's one of the nice things about the GRE is that you can break it up into small pieces for the vocab learning. And for those of you who don't know, you generally need to learn 1,500 words for the GRE. Um,
Mm.
and so, yeah, but studying in blocks, especially for people that maybe currently unemployed or uh, have vacation, yeah, if you can knock it out in an intense period, uh, for most of the did you, well, for the quant section in particular, that's useful. Yeah. For the
Mm.
verbal section, having it spread out is not such a bad thing.
But
Mm.
yeah, definitely for the quants. And so, yeah, for me, it was more working on the quants than on the verbal. So as you said, at the beginning, I took a mock test in GRE and in GMAT. I discovered GRE with you because at first I was only looking at GMAT.
Mhm.
But the GRE experience during the mock test was much better because it's kind of the exam is cut into smaller pieces, which
Yeah.
means that it's less. I felt it was much less draining in terms of energy. So I was like, okay, if both can get me in, I would rather take one that I enjoy most doing.
Yeah, for a lot of French people, the GRE is a good option just because a lot of the vocab comes from French. And so French people have kind of a natural advantage. Um, and then, but some people are really good with graphs and charts. And so so the GMAT is the better option.
Mm.
Like, I was a little surprised. I thought the GRE might just be easier, but so I've had now about 40, 50 students take both exams to see which would be better for them since the two exams changed in the last year and a half. And yeah, it's about 50-50. I would have thought that it would have been a little bit better for maybe like 60-40 for the GRE, but yeah, it's about half and half. And so,
Yeah, and
uh,
at the end, it's about percentile. So it's how you
yeah.
compete against others. So it's which one you're more
Yeah, which
comfortable
one
with because
works
yeah.
better for you? Like, are you more of a quant person? Are you more of a verbal person? And are you good with graphs and charts, which you have to be good at on the GMAT? And so different people have different strengths and weaknesses, and that's why we have them take both tests at the beginning.
Mm.
Um, and so then so you got the GRE, you got a 323 after starting with a 314, right?
Yes. Yeah, and
Uh,
I was a bit disappointed with my grade when I got it because the practice exam that I was taking right before
mm,
the official one were much higher. Um, so I was a bit disappointed, but I knew it was a grade that was in the range. So then
yeah.
it was about my 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 essays and my
Mhm.
candidature as well.
Yep, exactly. Like once you get into above a 320 on the GRE, then it's more about who you are and what you've done. Um, I mean, yeah, 323 is definitely better. So that's right around their average for INSEAD. Um, and what did you get on the quant section? Do you remember?
So I got in terms of percentile, I got a bit lower in the quants than in the verbal, but I can check if you want.
Oh, well, it's all right. But in any
Yeah,
case, because INSEAD generally requires 70th percentile on the quant. So did you have that or
I think maybe a little bit below that.
like 65th or something like that?
Yeah,
Yeah, so
yeah,
that's
yeah.
like really, they must have really liked you.
Okay.
Because they're pretty sticklers. They're one of the only schools in the world really that has this kind of 65th percentile minimum. I mean, there's MIT as well, maybe some Stanford. But otherwise, schools generally just care about the overall. But the INSEAD, they're kind of different. They really like people to have at least 65th on the quant, or really 70th. Um, and so, okay. And then how did the rest of the application process go for you?
Um, Pretty well. I mean, I quite you're speaking about the essays
Yeah, the
part.
essays
Yeah.
and the interview and
No, I did. I enjoyed much more this part than the GMAT because um, the questions allow and force you to kind of ask you some question about yourself and kind of gather all these kinds of experience that you did. So it's a bit of a deep dive into your life, into
Mhm.
your work life as well. So far, it's about collecting the ideas. So it was really interesting. And also, an advice I would give to people is to get feedback from other people on your essays. It's something I did quite a lot
Yeah.
with
How many people
family,
get help with?
friends.
Friends?
I mean, some people just had a quick read. Some others had a more intense one. But I would say at least, yeah, between 5 and 10 people
Yep.
had a good read on it. And some people like some stories, other not. So at the end, you have to make the choice. But having other view on your essay really makes a difference. Same for the interviews. I did quite a lot of practice interview,
Uh-huh.
even though INSEAD, everybody said it's really a fit interview,
Hmm.
that there's no tricky question. I think you
Practice
need to,
practice still helps.
yeah, practice still helps. Having all your stories, you know, like ready to come out and well structured, I think really helps to be
Hmm.
more to enjoy much more the interview
Hmm.
rather than being a
And
bit stressed.
you had two alumni interview. That's how
So
instant.
I had two alumni interview. So unfortunately, they were both offline because it was in July. So both of them were on holidays. But
No, they were
you,
online.
they were online. Sorry, yeah. And usually the school tells you to do them in person. I mean,
Hmm.
it's always better to do them in person. Um, and the interviews were, yeah, really about the fit. So of course you have to present yourself. I think that's the most important, to really have a good introduction, because it's maybe the only moment where you're going to be able to have the conversation and dictate what you want to say. So having a
Hmm.
strong start um, is, I think, key. And then it's, yeah, a discussion about what you've done so far. Some like to go more in the detail of your work because they know it,
Hmm.
and others, it's more about what you want to do in the future. So it really depends.
Hmm. Yeah. Do you remember did any questions stick out to you when you were doing the interview?
So there were, I mean, questions regarding my work, and then questions more behavioral questions. I can remember any of them, but yeah, times where I had to deal with a conflict, or I was exposed to different culture, and how I responded. So
Yeah.
you need to be prepared for this kind of question.
Yeah, those are the kind of the typical ones that come up. Mm.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Nothing was tricky during the interviews. I felt no, nothing was tricky.
Did you apply to any other schools or just did you apply to HEC as well?
I was gonna apply, but right after the process of
But
INSEAD.
since you got into INSEAD, you're just like, yeah,
Exactly. Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
nice.
Because I should say rounds. They have much more rounds than
Mhm.
INSEAD, and it finished for the same intakes. It finished much later during the year. So I would personally suggest to do like I did. First, do an application, wait a bit, and then do your other school, because doing the essay takes quite a lot of time, preparing for the interviews as well. So if you have to do two different type of essay at the same time, I think it can be a bit overwhelming, especially if you, like me, are working at the same time.
Yeah, it's a lot. That's
Yeah,
definitely for sure. Um, do you uh oh, are you going to, do you know what you're going to do at INSEAD? Are you going to are you going to do an exchange?
I'm starting with Singapore.
Okay.
Um, for the moment, I'm not doing any exchange with any other schools.
Hmm.
So I'm starting in Singapore, then coming back to Fontainebleau, and then ending the school in Singapore again. And I'm starting in January.
And what made you choose Singapore?
I really wanted to be in Asia, to be able to be. I did an internship in Shanghai, which of course
Hmm.
is not the same as Singapore, being in this super fast-paced environment, yeah, with a lot of innovation, and being able also as well to travel throughout Asia during the school made me choose Singapore.
Yeah, yeah, they definitely INSEAD definitely likes it when you've already worked abroad. And so
Yeah,
that
I think that's so from the people and the alumni I've talked to. I think that's one of the most important factor is your international experience.
oh
So
yeah,
you
for
need
INSEAD is the international school. I mean,
exactly.
other schools say they're international and they kind of are, but when it comes to like Europe and Asia, uh INSEAD's the most international. If when it comes to the Americas, okay, the US schools are pretty good at placing people in the South and North America, but in Asia and Europe and Africa and Australia, INSEAD is really all over the place.
Yeah,
So
I think European schools are a bit more international than
yeah,
US schools
well,
because US you have a big base of national, I mean, of people from the US. I think at least 40% in the
yeah,
schools.
the US is good at placing people in the US. And that's where people you generally want to be because that's where the salaries are the highest uh,
Mm,
on average. Well, I mean, I don't know, there are some exceptions, like Switzerland. But yeah, the usually people kind of need to stay in the US when they go to the US just because MBAs
yeah,
are expensive. And so it's the fastest way to pay them off for a
that's
lot.
what I was a bit concerned because of the situation and the
Mm.
political situation when I was applying, and because I think the US government was starting to stop doing student visa.
Yeah.
And so I asked the administration, are you getting a lot of people who wanted to do an MBA in the US coming to INSEAD? And they told me no, because if you want to study, if you want to work in the US, then you prefer to study in the US. And if that's really your career goal, you might wait, another intake, another year,
Yeah.
because it's such
So
a such an
I
important
think
move.
things have kind of settled down, at least for MBA applications in the US now. Um, there was definitely last year where things were more complicated. I heard I have a student that should have got into Harvard, but they just accepted less international students
Wow.
because they're in the fight with the administration. So that was pretty disheartening. I mean, he got a 655 on the GMAT and it's from Africa, had great work experience, all this stuff. So that was unfortunate, but I think this year is going to be kind of more normal. So that's good. Well, thanks. Well, maybe do you have any other last things that you would like to say to future students, or you think you covered
No, I
things?
mean, as you said at the beginning, there's no way around. I think you need to put the hours.
Mm.
You
Yeah,
need to.
most
I mean,
people.
you always hear these stories about this person who, had this crazy grade straight
Yeah,
away. But for normal people, I'd say,
yeah,
you need to work.
yeah. I mean, my brother was one of those crazy people. He got a perfect on the SAT, and then I took it, and I was like, oh. Why didn't I do so well? And then
Mm,
I just figured out, oh, I have to work. I wasn't one of those crazy people. But once you figure out the right way to do it and then you work, then you can make it. It's pretty
exactly.
systematically improvable once you know how to go about it. All right, well, thanks for doing this. And yeah, best of luck at INSEAD.
Thank you very much.